you. I believe.
Good day to you, MGTOW. This is Neo, I Believe. What a great month November 2022 has been. I'm still trying to decide if great is used in the context of good or great as in things are just incredibly out of the ordinary. I haven't been posting a lot this month. Truth be told, I've been having fun outside of the internet, enjoying real life, and it didn't leave a whole lot of room for content making. But I do want to be consistent with you brothers, and if I can, make videos on a regular basis. But a lot was going down in November, and shout out to the brothers in the manosphere who made video content about it. It was a lot to take in. It's just kind of like every day was something new, some buzzworthy topic. But I did take the time in this month to do a little bit of traveling, which is another reason I haven't been making videos. I've been out of the state twice within the last month, so yeah, not a proper time to make content when you're, on the road or technically on vacation. But I'm back, and it's good to talk with you again, brothers. So, what a trip November 2022 has been. I mean, there's an old saying that celebrity deaths come in threes, but I gotta say, the celebrity deaths this month came in like 33s. I think the first major death we heard about this month was the murder of Migos rapper Takeoff. Now, I'm not a big Migos fan. I don't know any of their works. The rap music that I listen to is, I guess, what you would consider old school. That is 90s, 2000s, and even 2010s. So I was not a big Migos fan. But I do want to say rest in peace to Takeoff. I hate the situation. It seemed like a lot of fuckery that went down. Here you have a multi-millionaire. And like I said, I don't know of their music, but their status is pretty high echelon. They have a hit song called The Black Beatles, and in the hip-hop realm of today's pop charts, Migos were literally like the Black Beatles. That being said, you have to wonder what the fuck Takeoff was doing in a bowling alley rolling dice in Houston, Texas. I mean, I hate the situation because a man of his status at that high in his music career really doesn't have to be rolling dice in Houston. I mean, I hate the entire fuckery of it. And I wished him a long life and a prosperous music career, which it seemed like he was doing prior to his deletion. I don't know what we can say on the tube, but there was a lot of controversy around that. I mean, myself, who's not even a Migos fan, I gave him his flowers and shout outs and told him rest in peace. But like anything in the manosphere, you've got the divester crowd of the black feminazi sector saying, oh, he's a bullet bag, and they were celebrating his deletion. Of course there was women who were at the scene at the time of the crime who came forward, feigning to be these good, wonderful women, and I call bullshit on that simply because what were these women doing in this environment? A dice game is just a bastion of drama and ghetto shit, generally speaking. So what were these women doing there in the first place, besides looking for drama and hoping to be first on the scene if another black man got deleted in such a heated environment? We did have the coon Keishas coming forth, as they always do when a black man is deleted. But rest in peace to Takeoff, and I would like to see his group members. I believe one was Future and one was Quavo. I would like to see them pursue their music career further and give tribute to their fallen member. But yeah, the celebrity death has been pretty crazy. Now, I'm an 80s baby who grew up in the 80s and the 90s, and another celebrity death that really cut me to the core was Kevin Conroy. Now, some of you were like, who's Kevin Conroy? Who's that? Kevin Conroy was the voice of Batman in several iterations, but namely Batman the Animated Series, which debuted in 1992. And I don't know any other voice actors who portrayed Batman, besides one or two. But I gotta say, Kevin Conroy was the iconic voice of Batman. He voiced Batman in the animated series, the new Batman adventure, the animated films, like if you've ever seen Mask of the Phantasm, Batman and Robin Sub-Zero. He was the voice of Batman in the Arkham Asylum games, so like Arkham City. I'm not a video gamer, so I don't know the titles, but I think one was Arkham City, Arkham Asylum, Arkham Knight, Arkham Origins, in that series. And even video games before that, if you guys go back to the 90s, I mean, if you remember the Adventures of Batman and Robin for the Sega CD, Kevin Conroy lended his voice for Batman in those games way back in the 1990s. And hearing about his untimely death, that really broke my heart. I would say his voice is legendary. I mean, think of the best performance you've ever seen of Batman. Some would say Robert Pattinson, some would say Michael Keaton, what have you. The voice of Kevin Conroy was on par with the best live-action Batmans. I mean, the man is legendary. He will always be Batman. Even if you pick up a comic book today and read it, and you read Batman's lines, there is a part of you that is going to hear Kevin Conroy's voice in every time you read a Batman line. I think he carried the series in a real way. Not to go off on a tangent about Batman, but if you recall, the animated series was in itself a tangent from the Tim Burton films, Batman 1989 and Batman Returns. And Kevin Conroy was just a nobody. For him to carry such an iconic role in such a legendary way, man, that shit is phenomenal. And rest in peace, Kevin Conroy. And before my generation could even begin to grieve the loss of Kevin Conroy, what was it, not even a week later? Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, a character known as Tommy Oliver, played by the awesome Jason David Frank, was unalived. We lost the Green Power Ranger, the White Power Ranger, whom also played the Red Zeo Ranger and the Black Dino Force Ranger. Jason David Frank, known as JDF, had just received divorce papers from his wife of nearly 20 years. And I'm of the opinion that it was the divorce that did him into a depressive state, because he was served his divorce papers while he was at Comic-Con. Can you imagine being at Comic-Con surrounded by thousands of fans who love you, signing autographs, taking pictures, giving positive advice to young kids, and your wife hits you with divorce papers after nearly 20 years and chose Comic-Con to do this? I mean, what a snake move. Anyway, earlier this month in November, around, I guess, November 18th, 19th, JDF and his wife had a heated argument, and they were at a hotel in Texas where they stayed in 2 separate rooms. And long story short, it was reported that while in his room, JDF unalived himself. Now that's the report. Growing up and having JDF as a positive figure, a role model, and finding out later on he's a, devout Christian, he's an MMA fighter, a Kickstarter for charity, I don't believe, per se, that the man self-deleted. I'm just going to put my opinion out there. There is something entirely too fishy about that story. Like I said, him being a devout Christian, they have particular laws that highly look down on self-deletion. So as much as JDF loved his wife, and divorce was probably devastating both emotionally and financially, I refuse to believe that this man unalived himself. Sorry. Something else is going down there. But I'm gotta be a little bit petty. I totally hold his wife responsible. Because after the fact, she had no hesitation to go to the media and tell the cameras how much she loved him and he was her soulmate. Yeah, that really doesn't look good when you and you alone drove him to depression to the point where he is no longer on this earth. So rest in peace, JDF. I wished much better for you in life. Let this be a message to all the brothers. Don't get married. It's not worth it. I mean, even after 20 years, because it says the couple got married in 2003. So depending on when that happened, that's just about 20 years. And just to be served divorce papers in August of this year, 2022, I believe. Brothers, it's not worth it. I mean, if the modern woman can just decide that she's no longer happy being married to the same man for 20 years, and we don't have a reason, we just know that he was going through a divorce. The media, of course, is giving as little details as possible because it's gynocentrism. You're not going to make a connection to his state of deletion to the depression felt by his wife in divorce. And they're not going to make the connection. But I do want to say rest in peace, Jason David Frank. In my humble opinion, you will always be the most badass Power Ranger. Nobody has been able to be better than you. And I was a fan of Power Rangers back in like 93, 94, 95, around that era. When they changed rosters every year, I stopped following. It was hard to keep up. But honestly, nobody was better than the Green Ranger / the White Ranger. I didn't follow it when he turned into the Red Ranger and then the Black Ranger. But man, Jason David Frank, one of a kind, legendary. Gonna miss you, man. Kind of a lot going on in November. Quite a few celebrity deletions happened. Another celebrity wasn't really too famous. I gotta say rest in peace, Aaron Carter. Now, Aaron Carter was the younger brother of Nick Carter, and Nick Carter is from the horrible, shitty band Backstreet Boys, albeit very popular band. Aaron Carter lost his life at 34, and I'll be the first to admit I was not a fan of Aaron Carter's music in the slightest. But I'm giving a shout out to Mr. Carter because in his life, I recall he was good friends with Michael Jackson. And when all those false allegations came out against Michael Jackson about how he was fondling children and all that, fellas, we know those accusations were complete bullshit. We know the media did everything in their power to make up those false, absolutely fabricated lies against Michael Jackson. And I'm giving a shout out to Aaron Carter because in his lifetime, amongst numerous interviews, I respect that the young man defended Michael Jackson. He personally knew him and hung out with him on numerous occasions. And I like that Aaron stood up and defended Michael Jackson every step of the way, saying, no, this was every one of these accusations was false. There was nothing going on in the Michael Jackson household but love and respect. And I said shout out to Aaron Carter because Michael Jackson did not have a lot of people in his corner. But for people to stand up and say, nah, this man never touched any children, that gets mad respect. That gets mad respect. I wasn't a fan of Aaron Carter's music, but as a person, big ups for him for calling out the absolute bullshit of child pedophilia against Michael Jackson. Mad respect. And Aaron Carter was only 34, but rest in peace, young man. So in this video, I guess I don't have a whole lot to say. I just wanted to kind of sum up November. Like I said, I've been kind of offline, and I like to see that the brothers are still holding down the fort. We've got a lot of grifters and chameleons trying to infiltrate the space, and men in the manosphere, the MGTOW sector, the red pill sector. We're keeping our boot on the necks of these chameleons, and that's good to see. So I don't have much to say today, gentlemen, but enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll be talking with you gents in December. And as I always say, thank you, and believe.